And we will get started in about 2 minutes. If you're just joining the call, the link to the worksheet is here in the chat window. We're going to talk a little bit about what we're going to work on today. If you have not run a node in a while and have not upgraded to Java 10 or higher, that is going to be a prerequisite for you this morning to get started. So please take a moment and do that if you've not done it already. We are very similar to last week. Would like to use our RChain Doctor, which is a log aggregator. There are instructions in the worksheet for doing this. It works very nicely for those of you who are already using Docker. There is also a tutorial in the chat from NetZipper on those who might want to be using Debian 9. Let me copy that link and paste it here in the chat.
One question. If I'm using Docker, I don't need to install Java 11, right? It's in the Docker image.
Yeah.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
So if you are able to add your logs to that log aggregator, that would be helpful. We understand that there's maybe some barriers to entry due to the complexity of this tool, and there's work in progress to improve that experience. So don't get too bogged down in that. Improvements are coming. Also similar to last week, what we have is a bit of a test net up and running. We are using the testing bootstrap. The link to that address is in the worksheet. We currently have, it looks like 15 nodes running connected to that network. 2 of the nodes are auto-proposing, and that information is in the worksheet as well, which of those 2 nodes. So if you are interested in going through the exercise of bonding to become a validator on the network, you should deploy your contracts to one of the 2 addresses shown in the worksheet. There's also instructions there for how to go through the process of bonding. So that's what we'd like to look at. We'd like to observe you joining the network, catching the state of the network. Because of the proposing, you will see blocks very quickly, and then also going through the process of bonding and seeing if you can then propose.
I guess that I'd like to try bonding to the test net.
Mm-hmm.
But I honestly, at this point, almost no clue how to do it.
Okay, no worries. Can we talk through it?
Yeah.
Okay, so basically at a high level, Jake, the bonding process is that you are going to send 2 contracts to a validating node, and that will, one, establish that your will establish that you're interested in bonding, and it will draw some funds from the wallet, and then you can validate your bond by looking in the hash of the block that's proposed, and you'll see your key has been added. Is the short of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it
Okay.
actually sounds like the way we tested it before.
Okay, fantastic. So if you are looking in the Rnode user guide, there are instructions in there for bonding. It's called Bonding to a Network to Become a Validator is the section. And you just need your create those to generate those deploy files by filling in your information. And then once you have those 2 files, you can deploy them to the validating node, either 203 or 207.
Okay.
Sorry, Kelly, what's
Yeah.
the Bootstrap address?
Bootstrap today is, hold on. We're using the testing Bootstrap. I'll paste it into the chat here. Please be careful with the quotes. I think these might be stylized. Do you see?
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Hey, Martin. Hey, Jeremy. Hey, Deanna. You guys came in and I wasn't paying attention. Apologies. So we are just getting started using the worksheet to get started. I'll post that link here in the chat window. We do have a testnet up. I see about 36 blocks on it. So when you join, you should, within a few minutes, start to see blocks showing up on your node.
So I deployed my forwarder for bonding, and I'm about to do the same thing for the actual bonding one. How do I know when a block is proposed and what its hash is so I can check that I got bonded?
That's a really good question. I guess, could you see? I mean, the short answer, Josh, is I don't know that there's a clean process. But I think the I mean, if I think through it, is if you look in your logs and you see that you received a block from a sender that is the sender that you deployed to.
Yeah, right. That sounds right. And
Okay.
then, oh yeah, because I know the IP address and
Yeah.
that'll be listed in the log. Okay, cool.
Exactly. Yeah. Messy at best. So I'm curious, I'd like either, you're welcome to come off mute, you're welcome to type it in the chat channel. I'm curious who is running and connected to the network, number 1.
Yeah.
Still get my machine set. Java.
Okay.
I'm seeing a lot of hello Joe and hello world.
Wait, say that again, Paolo?
Yeah, I'm connected. I'm seeing a lot of hello world, hello game, hello Joe.
Yes, the testnet nodes got a little bored. And so what's your block count then, Paolo?
Let me check. I don't know. Show block. Block 9.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, last time that I checked the node that I was running last week, I don't think it ever catched up with the other blocks.
Okay.
We stayed to the 20 block that I created. That's it.
Okay. Hey, Paolo, if you do a show blocks and do like a -D12, I'm curious to know if you have duplicates of certain numbers.
I get blocked 0 with a hash. I can copy paste. What should I look for?
So if you do, let me type. What depth did you do?
Mine was D12,
Okay.
and
I'm just curious if you see duplicates of, for example, 2 block number 8s.
Okay, so I should just grab for the block.
Yeah. And, okay. Joshy, how's the bonding going?
Yeah, there are duplicates. 7, 8, 9. Those 3 are duplicated for me.
Yeah, I have the same.
Okay.
And so, from my understanding of how this blockchain works, that shouldn't be surprising, right? We have this DAG structure, and we have two validating nodes proposing, and what we should observe over time is consensus. But it's unclear what over time means here.
At the very least, we should be able to see 2 parallel DAGs running and not colliding, and maybe splitting even further, because that's it's no consensus, but still it's possible for it to exist this way.
Agreed. And my guess, my hypothesis is when another validator joins, whether it's I imagine Joshy's would be able to do this, that he would start proposing, and then we would see a divergence, another divergence.
Yep.
Very exciting. Joshy, how's the bonding going?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get there soon. I realized I've done some things out of order, so I might have to restart, but we'll see.
Okay.
Just in case it's interesting to anyone, I actually did my bonding and forwarder deploys before I even had a node running, and now I'm starting the node. So I don't know if it's gonna work or not, but I'm interested to see.
That is interesting. I don't know why it wouldn't.
That's what I was thinking too, and then I realized we had always tried it the other way, right? So
Yeah.
I'll report back soon.
Huh, exciting times.
There is a bug that we are aware of, that sometimes if the node is running as a validator, so it's not a bootstrap node or not a standalone node, and it's trying to connect to the network, if it doesn't find the bootstrap initially on the first try, and then the bootstrap appears, there is a chance for the node to not, it will not start properly negotiating blocks. So in other words, it seems okay, but it doesn't receive blocks at all. It's a known issue, we need to fix it. Just the fix for it is just restart the node, because if you're not seeing any blocks for a longer period, then just kill it and run it again.
It looks like somebody deployed to me. If you did, you got block E, B, D, D, B, so many D's and B's. My dyslexic daughter would be sad.
I wonder what bond amount is it better to put? I have put three bond amount, and it was some kind of issue last time.
Yeah, because we couldn't go big. Go over 100. Hey there, Drawer. Hey, Jim.
Hey, anyone doing anything or?
Yeah. Sorry, we're just hanging out here in silence. Here is the link to the worksheet coming into the chat for you. We have a testnet running, and so the opportunity here is to bring up a node and join that network. and to catch the state. The other opportunity is to bond as a validator, going through the bonding process. So we have some people working on the bonding process now. We have others who I think are just still working on joining the network. Is anybody trying to join the network and having problems?
Well, my bonding seems not to have worked, but that's probably for the reasons I said earlier. So I'm just
Okay, try again.
I tried to bond and deploy the two files, the rolling files, but I'm stuck at block 26 and I don't see my public key there.
Okay. Did you deploy both of those to me, Paulo?
No, I use
Okay, you use
the
the other one. Okay.
auto-propose.
Do you see in your logs that you have received blocks and maybe are processing them and not adding them? I know it's messy.
Yeah, it's difficult to read, but I see a lot of received block, blah, 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 again, and received request for block X with no response given since block not found. Some of those. But it's strange because if the thing that I deployed was auto-proposed, I should get the block. So if I don't receive anymore, it probably should be there. Ah, received block 28 now. Let me check.
Okay.
Hey, Kelly.
Yeah.
Silly question. So right now I'm so kind of like having a slow morning so far, but so we're just trying to bond to the testnet, correct?
Correct.
And would I need to make my own wallets file? Because when I generated, it asked for obviously the staking amount, but if there's no wallets file to pull from, I'm not sure if that will work or not.
We're doing faucet bonding, so you don't have to have a wallet.
Oh, okay, cool.
Thank you, Joshi.
Sorry, I have a question also. Should we wait for blockchain synchronized before we deploy forward and the second one file, or it's okay? For example, I have block numbers 23. Can I deploy now? 26 now.
I would think so.
Yeah, validators that automatically deploys do it as well.
Sorry?
The validators that are automatically deploying from our infrastructure are doing it as well.
Oh, okay.
So I guess you don't need to wait to synchronize because you're sending it to a validator.
Correct.
I'm receiving new blocks, but nothing there. I mean, not my key.
Not your key.
But that actually makes sense. If you're sending your block to a validator, your key will be in a current block on the validator. So if you're not synchronized to the network, you will not see your key in the old blocks because the validators don't change the old blocks. They create new ones.
Yeah, so we should send deploy the second file, which is bond, prefixed with bond, after blockchain synchronized.
That's a good question.
It's a really important question because how would you, I mean, just similar to what we're observing right now, I'm a new node, I want to be a validator. Where would you go to source of truth to understand what the state is? How do you know how long to wait? If you have to wait.
But on the other hand, if you have to wait for sure, because if you want to be the validator, you need to know the state of the DAG, right? of the whole chain, actually. So from a technical standpoint, you have to figure out how to know what the current tip is for the consensus. But if there's no consensus, then you don't know, and you have no way of knowing. Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the bottom line is, if you want to be a validator, you need to know the current up-to-date chain, for sure.
So in this moment now, for those who are interested in bonding, it's important that before they go through the bonding process, that they have a sense of having the state of the network.
I think that I've got that now.
Well, the worst thing that can happen is that network blows up. So
let's do that.
As long as it's a test network,
Yeah.
I don't think we care that much.
So should we stop proposing to test if the duck converges?
Maybe that's a good idea. Give it a chance, see what happens, and then maybe try bonding.
Okay, so should I stop the testnet validators? I mean the cube validators.
Validators or proposes? You have them.
Oh yeah, right. I think they are both.
Well, but I'm sure you have it on a different script, propose and deploy.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you could pause them for a while, stop them for a while. Don't kill the validators. They are needed.
Okay.
So how do I know that DAG is synchronized? What's the current block number? So I want to wait for synchronization to deploy the second file.
Yes. So let's see.
Kelly, you are the best
Yeah,
validator at the moment, right? Yeah, so you know.
The last block I have is block 52.
I have 40.
With a block where the fork choice is, I'll paste the fork choice. But I also have divergence. Like if I do show blocks, I have duplicates with different, for example, 2 block 15s with different block hashes and the same parent.
I have a duplicate 27 also, and I'm stuck at 35 now.
You're stuck at 35.
How do you check this? What command?
How do I check the blocks?
No, you have. You said you have a divergence.
Oh, I do.
Duplicates.
Yeah, I do. Show blocks, and then because I know I have a long.
You could use the command that I pasted.
Yeah, I use this.
Thanks.
If you grab the block with the space, you will just see the number of the blocks.
Oh, fun! I want to try.
Do you think it's a good idea to silence the not adding messages?
Wait, which messages? Oh, I just.
Well, the node is spammed with all the could not receive response and could not. Yeah, mostly that. I think it's
as a node operator, I would love it.
Yeah, because
it's messy.
When you run in a wild this can happen all the time, and people will just have another vector to DDoS your node. So I will make a ticket or maybe change it myself.
Okay, thank you.
But for example, I'm stuck at 35 probably because I usually get blocks when some nodes start proposing.
So let me.
Since we stop proposing, I guess it's not going to move a lot.
Yeah, I'm also stuck at 35 for some reason.
I'm stuck at 40.
Okay.
Thomas, can you start the propose deploy cycle again?
Yeah, I just received request for block from.
I tried deploy. I tried proposing, but I'm apparently not bonded. So how do I deploy?
Well, if you're not bonded, you may not deploy.
Yeah, exactly. That's. but the follow-up question is how do I deploy to your node, Kelly?
You do. I'll show you in the chat.
Thank you.
Oh, but that's not my. Hold on, that's not my IP address. One moment.
Do you want me to start the validators? I mean proposers.
Maybe give them a moment because it seems that Kelly wants to do it manually.
Okay.
Right? Did I understand that right, Kelly?
Yeah, let's give that a try because they would propose so fast.
Okay, so manual. Okay.
Yeah, let's give that a try. I'll try one.
Should we use Kelly? Should we use your IP to deploy forward and bond contracts? Because I deployed forward contracts to the one IP address which is in Rnode address of test network bootstrap node.
Yes. Okay. So yes, you can deploy to mine.
Should I do it, or I can both ways?
We'll choose one way.
Okay.
And I think mine is the one to do right now since we stopped auto proposing.
Are we using the testing bootstrap?
We are using the testing bootstrap.
Cool.
All right, I received a deploy.
It's probably from me.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Okay, I deployed forward.
Okay, proposing. All right, I created the block with your forwarder. So Wukash, did that cue your node to start catching up?
I'm looking.
Okay, I deployed bond file.
All right, proposing.
Still at block 35.
Yeah, I received some blocks, but they are like 54, so bigger numbers. And I guess until you get to 36, you will not see them.
That is correct. It will keep asking for the relatives. So I just, if you were, here's the block with the bond in it.
So I guess that's a way to see that you're out of sync, because I have 35, but I received block 56. So yes, that's easy.
And so then what you should also see your node doing is requesting blocks that it's missing. Do you see that? Well, I see that. I see you guys doing that.
Are you asking me?
No, I was. If you've seen block 50 something and you know that you only have block 30 something, your node, you should also observe your node making requests for the blocks that are missing.
Thomas, mute.
Okay.
Thanks.
I'm just receiving requests for blocks from other. No. Oh wait, received block 57.
Validator 3 has block 56.
Okay, I just sent block 57. That was mine.
Show blocks still shows block 35 as the last block for some reason.
Yeah, come on, please. Dispatch this 36, please.
Sorry, come again?
Yeah, I wish there was a way to, give priority to some blocks that are.
Okay.
But on testnet 3, on Google Validator, show blocks shows block 57.
Okay.
It
So
seems
I'm wondering, Paolo.
Yeah.
It appears, I mean, from my perspective, you're bonded because I have block 57 and it contains your bond.
Do you want to check if my key is there?
Yeah, I do.
Let me paste it. This is my key.
Thank you.
It seems that my node is stuck. It doesn't print debug messages for about 10 minutes already.
Whoa. It looks like it's just hung. Did you have any error messages?
No, it just ended up on new fork choice. Tip is block some edit block last block that was
Are you using the lock collector?
sorry, it is question for me.
Yeah. If you are using the RDoctor.
Yeah, I'm using RDoctor, but I'm viewing the output of Rnode also. So this is my last block edit, and after that, it's just nothing.
And which email have you used to register for doctor?
No. I haven't run RDoctor now because we have no session key.
I see. Well, it wouldn't probably help much, but we could see some debug messages.
So how should we run RDoctor?
Here's the session key. I'll put it in the chat.
Okay, so it is good to just stop my node and run it again with RDoctor running.
Yeah, it will be easier next week.
Okay.
This version is very unfriendly.
Kelly, I tried to deploy since you see the key. But imagine what?
Unflashable block.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess until I get the block, I can't.
Yeah, that would make sense.
I guess that's the tricky part, to have the network in sync to allow these checks easily. But it wouldn't be a dog anyway.
No, that's something to consider for the MVP. Do you understand the issue of the challenge of trying to bond when you can't understand the state of the network?
Yeah.
Hey, Ned.
Hey.
Oh, hey. So can you make a note of that for our MVP conversation?
I believe it's in there, but I
Okay.
so it's understanding the state of the
Yeah, I as a
node or the network.
Yeah, well, I as a potential validator need to have a clear view of the network and understand when my node has reached the state of the network so that I can then go through the process of bonding.
I think that's too much.
Is it?
I think that it's enough if I have a view if I'm in the state to bond. It doesn't need to be. I can schedule me bonding and then receive an information that I can bond. I don't need to understand the whole network because that if the network is large enough, it won't be possible ever.
I see.
For many, many reasons. And if I schedule a bond and it goes through, then I'm bonded to a piece, at least to a piece of a DAG. And the more nodes accept this block, the more accepted amongst the nodes I am.
So then
In
you
other
just
words, I
need a
don't
way
need to know everything.
Okay. But you do need a way to know, you need some sort of confirmation that you're bonded.
You need to have your bond in your chain to be able to say, yes, I'm a validator, and my key is in the chain.
Okay. So let's use Paolo as an example. He is stuck on block 30 something. His bond is in block 54. Now, so at this point, he just has to wait until he adds block 54 to his.
It would be already useful to know which block I have to wait.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Because I could imagine that maybe it's 36 while it's not.
But you did receive a short version of the hash after a propose, right?
Only because I gave it to him.
The propose returns a hash.
I don't know if I have it in the log now.
No, it doesn't matter if you have it, but the fact is, after you do a propose, you will have at least a partial version of the key, of the hash of the block that was proposed.
But I did deploy against auto-proposing IP, so that IP proposed I didn't see the hash.
Yeah, that seems like the crux of it. Did that make sense? Why he doesn't have the hash?
Yep. Okay.
Can I ask, hey, Dominic, do you think you could send me the user story that you want, or anybody, and I will add it? If I try to transcribe, I'm gonna.
Not sure I'm the person to send it because I'm arguing against it.
Because what?
I'm arguing against it.
Oh, well, if anybody wants it, I don't want to mistranscribe it.
But anyway, this is useful because without auto-proposal, we see a lot of traffic and the reality of having the network.
Okay, so can we agree that the feature required is as a incoming node validator to be, I need a way of verifying what my current status is and when will I be bonded?
Yeah.
Okay.
Got it. Thank you.
I mean, people can wait. We don't have to be sure that happens in minutes, but I mean, at least knowing when it will be done, a way to check. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, if you know what the block is, what the block number is, then you know what you're waiting for, and you can query the proposing. You can query your state to see what your block is. And
so ideally, when you deploy to another node, the bonding files, at least the second one, you should get as the output the hash of the block 2. But it's impossible because you have that is generated when you propose, when the other node proposes. So probably that's the difficulties.
Yep.
John.
So,
Yep.
Yeah, in other words, go ahead.
Is this problem more general than just bonding deploys? This seems like actually transaction receipts more generally, right? I might be interested in knowing like what block anything I deployed is in, not just the thing that's going to get me bonded.
Yeah, it's like as of the last 2 minutes, I'm pretty sure that we have a communication. Communicating the information problem, not a generic mechanism problem. So in other words, the algorithm for now looks sane. We're just lacking the communication of the receipts.
But was there a discussion in the past that actually deploy and propose could be like one process together? Because maybe that will help.
You want to be able to deploy multiple times and propose once.
Yeah, but maybe that's something that you would request if you need it instead of being the default. Or
What's the use case for needing to collect multiple deploys before proposing, since proposing is free in proof of stake?
I think I could be wrong. I think the reason we do twice right now is to get token from the faucet.
So Paulo, you were saying maybe just in general, each deploy should get its own propose. Is that what I understood?
Yeah, I mean, or give an option that does that. Like it's similar to discussion we already had about having a channel, a way to get back some information or data about deploy and propose. So I don't know. I would suggest at least creating some way to give this kind of information back. Then they could be used, for example, in this case for bonding, because they can give much more information to be able to know your state.
Yeah.
For those who are hung on some block number, have you gotten past that hang? You added any new blocks?
So I restarted my node and several times, and now I cannot do show blocks because the working node says Casper instance was not available. So.
Oh, if you look back in your logs, did you receive the Genesis block and transition to the handler state?
Same here. Same here.
I don't think I have. For some reason, I don't know why.
Try again. Make sure.
I've reached block 61.
Shazam! Me too.
Is that a good thing?
Yeah.
You there? Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Good for you. So.
Well, the problem is that I received 61 right now, but I'm still stuck at 35 because I'm missing the other ones.
So Jake, confirm please. You not only did you receive block 61, do you have 61 blocks at least?
When I do Rnode show blocks, I get block 61.
Okay.
Ha! Lucky you, really.
Well, wonderful.
Where was that block? Well, actually, I'm in Italy, so it might be far away from you.
Yeah, Jake.
I was wondering about that. The machine that this is on, it's got a public IP address in a data center specifically with, let's say it's extremely open, right? And I'm not sure what others have or if that could actually be a problem, but. I'm thinking like in terms of being able to reach other nodes to get the blocks.
Mm-hmm.
I restarted my node and get Casper instance was not available again.
Can we look at your? I'm really curious to see what it said when you restarted. What do the logs say? Do you show that you received the approved block?
So I'm not sure what there should be in the log, but I have after it was my IP address. It gets that it is Amazon AWS service. Then starting node that will bootstrap shows the address of testnet bootstrap node. Then I guess I will just copy and paste some.
Or that is the correct bootstrap, and you're not getting an approved block. Hey, Tomasz, is Bootstrap still running?
Let me check. Yeah, I think it.
In particular, is it do you see it sending? Yeah.
So I received 63 now. Why would I still getting the latest block but not the oldest one?
Oh.
I mean, what is favorating?
Okay. Bootstrap node failed on out of memory Java heap space, so I guess that explains it. Crashed.
Aha. Aha.
Well.
Store the log,
indeed.
please.
Yes. In any case, it's on Kibana, but I will save it. Yeah, so I will save it and restart it in a moment. Okay.
So Bootstrap can be restarted, like we don't have to change the reference?
Yeah, it holds its address.
Okay.
Well, hold on. It typically holds its address. Let's validate that when it's restarted.
Okay. Okay, started. It should be up in like 20 seconds. By the way, who is running VM 135.237.local? Oh, it's you, not Zipper. Okay.
Yeah, it was me.
Jake, what's your block count?
Let's see here. It is 65.
Excellent. Me too.
Cool. Kind of weird.
What?
Well, you and I seem to have all the blocks, and then does anyone else have all the blocks?
I would wager that Pyrate 203 and 207 should. Do you think
Okay, and
Tomasz?
these
haven't gone down.
These are machines that the co-op is running?
We still have access to the Pyrofix machines.
Got it.
For the next couple days.
Okay. And they all do because they're all currently validators, and there's what, like 10 of those machines?
Correct.
And
Is
then
my guess. We need to validate that.
Oh, okay.
But Tomasz is doing something, I think.
Yep.
Okay. When you have a chance, Tomasz, I'm curious for maybe 205, what 205's block count is.
You mean, okay.
Sorry, is the Bootstrap node up and running?
In 10 seconds.
Kelly, can you verify how many peers you have connected?
I can, one moment.
Cool.
Okay, it's up and running.
My peer count is 22.
Maybe it is a good idea to add some debug message in case when the Bootstrap node you're trying to connect is not active, because it just says that Casper not available, and that's it.
Yep, that makes sense.
Yeah, valid upload block received. Yeah.
Kelly?
Yeah.
When you're gonna create a ticket for something like that, could you possibly add a label in Jira, something like add integration tests, so that it can later on filter all the tickets that are missing integration tests?
Yes. Will.
So Kelly,
oh, yeah, go ahead.
you wanted to know showbox on some code validator?
Correct.
Okay.
I'm getting peers now, but no approved block yet.
Shoot. And you just restarted?
Yeah, but should I restart it or should I wait and see if that eventually will work?
It might be that your node is in the state that I described earlier. Please try restarting.
Okay.
So
restarting would be enough. Isn't it necessary to delete the working directory with the?
Yeah, I'm gonna delete it. I just wonder what's the state you described, so for reference, if it's the shortest explanation.
We should delete the working directory, right? Or it is not necessary?
I understand it is necessary.
Yeah, and it worked, so.
Node 3 has block 65.
Excellent.
I was still wondering how we could find a way to prefer the older blocks to be sent around instead of the latest one.
Yes, let's do an
When that
experiment.
happens, like everybody gets stuck.
Mhm. Well, not everybody, because Jake caught up.
Yeah, I would like to have a poll that shows how many are stuck and how many has the latest block.
All right, Jake, Kelly, and 203 have the latest. Why don't we do this? Let's use chat. Can everyone type in the block that they have? So this would be, you do show blocks and the number that you have.
So do we send the forward file first, or the first?
Good question. Hold on. Yes, forward goes first.
Cool. And then those two nodes, are they like auto propose, or what's the situation?
Yes, if you're those two nodes. So you're gonna get which one are you choosing? 203 or 207?
Let's say 207.
Okay. Tomasz, can you confirm that it's 207 is still auto proposing?
I can do 203. Like.
Okay.
Is that auto proposing or?
No, nothing is auto proposing now. Should
Okay.
I start it?
Yes, please.
Okay.
And just tell us which one you started on. Paolo, can you share the hash of your block 35?
Sure.
After restarting, I'm stuck on block 0 now.
Hold on, let me propose. Hold on.
That would be nice.
Okay, you're 218.
Do you have that?
Well, I do. And then I'm just looking. So that's your block 35, and then block 36. Oops. So I'm curious if you observe your node requesting this block 36. Do you see? So Paula, does that make sense? Do you see in your logs that your node is requesting for this block?
Yeah.
And the question is, how many peers do you have?
Sure. Let me check.
That would be because if you see no one with this block, then you have no one to ask it for, right?
I have 15 peers.
That's a lot. Okay.
Will, how many peers do you have? No worries, take your time.
So I'm in a situation that I should receive this block sooner or later, since I have a lot of peers.
Yeah.
As long as you're requesting it, yes.
Kelly, have you proposed? Because I'm still on block 0 for some reason.
Oh, I have proposed many times.
You
don't see any traction.
I mean, I'm seeing some traffic in the logs. Other nodes are requesting blocks from me, but I seem to be stuck on block 0. I mean, show blocks shows block 0. Let me try.
So I'm also stuck on block 0, but it seems like I'm keep requesting older and older blocks. So maybe we're still trying to get all the blocks until we get to block 1 and then build up from there or something.
Oh, yikes.
That makes sense?
It does. It seems painful if you have a blockchain in the millions.
Okay, so this is the things I see in my logs. So I keep asking this block to people that don't have it.
Okay. Huh. I wonder why. It would be handy if you could force a request to somebody who does have it.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Or at least verify.
I don't know, pay for that.
Yeah, because if the nodes cannot see each other for whatever reason, be it firewall, be it flaky network, whatever, then it's impossible to catch up.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
But if I have a list of peers and I, ask to anyone in turn, at some point I should get it.
That's the gossip protocol we have implemented underneath. So basically, you're doing that, but it's a gossip protocol. It takes time.
Okay.
The question is, does anyone know from your peers? And the other question is, should the one that doesn't know, that's in your peer list, ask other ones because you're asking? And if it's, Pavel, do you know if the protocol does this? As in, if I'm being asked about a block and I'm not interested in it, but someone else is asking me for this block, should I broadcast the same request?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I think it would be worthwhile to have Kent in those sessions because he. I mean,
it's like a complicated thing, but basically,
it's Casper internals. It's Casper internals, and I think Michael Burgess used to be in those sessions, right?
Yeah, we need to get Kent up and running.
I guess the point is that if somebody is asking for blocks that are much lower than the one that I have, they should get some priority in be spreading out as requests. That's the point. Now, of course, I'm oversimplifying, but I mean, the older blocks are needed more than latest one because otherwise you don't get the whole chain.
From one point of view, yes. From the other point, it's a very good vector of attack. Imagine that you spawn a million small nodes and just flood the network with requests for the first block. Yeah.
Oh, I got an error. Exciting.
After an hour.
I know. That's good, right? Progress. All right. It is. Let's be respectful of time. It is 1 minute past the top of the hour. We are at time for today. Will, thank you for putting your log in that ticket. I will be following a couple tickets based on what we've observed. If you have had experienced an error or have an issue that you feel like requires a ticket, please do file that or talk to me and I can help you do that. We will do this again next week, and thank you for your time today.
One request, if you have problems with Genesis, tuple spaces, and so on and so forth, exceptions or weird messages regarding Genesis and tuple space, please also zip your Rnode directory, the working directory, and attach it to the ticket.
If we are running RDoctor, should we somehow, I don't know, how should we tie our issues that we found with our RDoctor logs?
If you'll just reference that the log is in RDoctor, we can pull it from there.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Kelly, I can lift my node running and see if I get the state.
Okay.
I'll check this tonight, like few hours later.
Okay, excellent. Thank you for that. All right, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for your time. We will meet again next week.
Thanks. Bye.